Let's add another member to the surprising supporters category out there in criminal justice reform. Heritage Foundation. In case you're not familiar with them, Heritage pushes for pretty conservative causes. Pro-life legislation, defunding Planned Parenthood. You go on their site. Actually, there's a post from a few years ago, still up there, called "The Social Cost of Abandoning the Meaning of Marriage." But the group is more nuanced than you would think. They see criminal justice reform as being right in line with conservative values. New position piece out from Heritage last week argues this, quote, "While the recent spikes in violent crime and the continuing opioid crisis are certainly causes for concern, Congress is right to consider whether there may be smarter, more efficient, more humane, and more cost-effective ways to address crime while at the same time enhancing public safety." Today I spoke with John Malcolm. He co-wrote that Heritage paper, and he also serves as the vice president for the Institute for Constitutional Government. John, the Heritage Foundation is not the first organization that many people would think of when you think criminal justice reform. Could you just tell me briefly why you feel it's important?
Well, the Heritage Foundation has actually supported various forms of criminal justice reform since Ed Meese joined the Heritage Foundation right after the Reagan administration. I mean, we are certainly tough on crime and believe that violent criminals, people who intentionally violate the law, should be sentenced, and the public safety needs to be protected. However, we also believe in fairness in our criminal justice system. We don't believe that people who lack criminal intent, for example, should be convicted of crimes absent extraordinary circumstances. We also believe in using criminal law enforcement resources in a smart manner, and believe that there are too many very low-level offenders who end up getting caught up in the system. And it's not that they don't deserve to be punished, but sometimes the punishments that are imposed upon them under mandatory minimum drug laws can be draconian.
So when I think of the Heritage Foundation, and probably many others do too, and while you're a wide and varied organization, you think of family, of more religious issues, things like that. Do you feel this is, in some ways, a moral issue?
Yes, there is a moral component to this, certainly when it comes to mens rea reform. Senator Hatch has introduced a bill as trying to ensure that people who are charged with crimes and branded as criminals, that they, absent extraordinary circumstances, have acted with a criminal intent and not just engaged in an act of negligence or made a mistake. That's the kind of system that ought to go in the tort, in the tort system, negligence. You shouldn't be branded a criminal for engaging in negligent conduct.
Let me ask you that. Are there ideas out there, especially in conservative circles, to help these people once they get out in their communities?
There are groups out there like Prison Fellowship that talk about reentry. I've written a lot about an issue called collateral consequences. It isn't covered in the Grassley-Durbin bill or the Hatch bill, that says that when somebody is released from prison, there are a lot of civil consequences that get imposed upon them. Everybody knows that you can't possess a firearm, can't serve on a jury, you can't vote, but there are in fact thousands of impediments that are placed on people. Sometimes they make sense. You wouldn't want a convicted pedophile, for instance, running a daycare center, but a lot of these collateral consequences make no sense.
What do you say to those out there who are looking to Heritage at this moment and hearing these proposals, knowing they didn't get over the finish line in the past Congresses, and wondering should they this time?
There are reasons why criminal justice reform didn't get across the goal line in the last Congress. It was an election year. We had a lot of tension between the police and the communities that they serve. We're having an opioid crisis. There are surge in violent crime in some communities. These remain impediments, and they should be addressed, frankly. But I think that sensible, measured criminal justice reform continues to make sense. And a lot of states have enacted criminal justice reform measures, and they've ended up saving money and, in fact, enhanced the safety of the citizens in their states.